Where's your Mason? He's decided to live outside, you guys. Sorry. This update is mainly for the people who watch our weekly vlogs and know our life story and know about our pets. I have a difficult announcement to make, and I'm going to probably ramble on and on because I want you to understand all the factors, but Mason decided to leave us, and he bolted out of the house during the holiday weekend and not to come back. He's left. He's not even in the yard like he usually would be. He has just totally ran away. Mason ran away at the beginning of the Thanksgiving holiday. I think it was Wednesday night or Thursday, and he has not been seen since. He's decided to go live outdoors, and he won't come back. He doesn't want to be here, and that's heartbreaking. He basically came from the outdoors, and he's been aspiring to be in the outdoors and live out there and chase things. And I guess he's met his goal. Yeah, you're a good boy, aren't you? Mason has decided to escape the house again, but this time he ran away. And this happened during Thanksgiving with all the people around and dogs and cats, just all the animals here and people coming and going. He found a way to get out, and he took off, and I saw him run, and he ran as far as he could and never to come back. And at first it was just an annoyance because he's done that before, and he comes back at night or the next morning. We've even left doors open at nights hoping that he'd come back in. We've left a window open, which is a super unsafe thing to do because bad people can get in, or mice. There's a lot of mice that get into houses around here. I figure this little guy will help us with that problem, but hasn't been seen or heard from since. And we've checked with the pound, we've checked around the neighborhood. Two of our immediate neighbors have moved out, so there's nobody home anyway. And I've checked all around their buildings, and there's really no place for Mason to hide in this immediate area, but there's a lot of space where he can run off to. Mason came to us as a stray, and he was born, we think, in a house about 2 blocks away with other cats, with a person who we think hoarded cats and sometimes let him in his house, but that's all conjecture. That's just what the neighbors are telling me. I can't say for sure where Mason came from, but he's been with us for 4 years, and as you know, he sneaks out as much as he can. It's been a lot more lately. He has decided that he'd rather live outside, but he's returning to where he came from. That's his choice, I guess, although I wouldn't give him that choice if need be. But you know, when you have 3 dogs and 3 cats in the home over the holidays, trying to keep them in the house is absolutely impossible with all the comings and goings, especially when a cat like Mason wants to get out. And you know, we're used to that. Our Sammy cat, we've had for 15 years. He died 5 years ago, about 5, yeah. Well, Sammy would come in and out all day, but he'd spend at least 50% of his time in here, especially if it was a little colder out or rainy. On super nice moonlit days, we might not see him much for a few days while he's chasing the rabbits. But Sammy, you know, we couldn't keep him indoor either, but he grew up as, well, so did Mason. He was born as an outdoor cat. But it was different with Sammy because he'd come back in several times a day. He could pass in and out. He'd be waiting at the door, and we'd know that he wanted to come in. He would go to specific spots around the house where we would see him, and he'd make it known that he wants to come in. Mason also had that capability. He used to come to my office window within minutes of running out, and he would show up there meowing. And so I've left that office window open. I've watched my security cameras, And although we also have two other cats around outside that have been living. One is called Patches. I call him Patches because he has patches. He's a calico brown and white, I think. Beautiful cat. He's been around here for 2 years. He hunts our garden, thank goodness. He's not ours. I don't know where he lives or who feeds him. I think he feeds himself. And he helps us control the voles out in the garden. So I'm rambling on, but I'm trying to paint this whole picture. Is it my fault? Yeah, ultimately it is, because I'm the captain of the ship, so to speak. And everything that happens in this house falls on my hat, falls under my watch. So I will accept responsibility for Mason's disappearance. But with that, I take in a lot of factors, and instead of being, well, I am heartbroken and I am sad, but I'm also disappointed that he wants to live outside and not come back. Maybe we have just too many animals for him in here. I don't know. You guys can guess in the comments below. Maybe it certainly isn't a lack of loving environment. It's not lack of food and love and warmth and all the other things that you've seen us do with our cats. I've nursed him back to health when he was on his deathbed as a kitten. He just about died. But please don't bite my chin. Itchy nose. So Coho, thank goodness, has no aspiration to run outside, even though he came from the outdoors. But his environment was obviously no mama. And his environment, Coho here, Coho's environment was at a gas station, totally unsafe, no grass, no green space, along a highway. A lot of people, maybe that's why he's so social. But he was there for 2 days. We adopted him, rescued him from that gas station. He has no interest in being outside. In fact, I like to test to see what cats are doing, and he'll sit at the threshold. You've seen this on some of my videos when I play with the dogs. He'll sit at the threshold and he will not. He ran out on the deck once because a leaf, I think it was a leaf that was blowing, and he couldn't resist, but then he ran right back in the house. So lesson learned, I'm not letting any of our future cats ever step foot outside the door without being in a crate. This little Coho travels with us to the lake. So he does get out of the house, but he's only carried in a crate in the car, and then straight inside the cabin when we get there. So no outdoor time for our other cats. I know there's going to be a lot of comments blaming us, and again, I'll take the full blame because everything that happens in this household happens under my watch. But again, there's so many factors that I want to just point out. That Mason came from the outdoors. His mama cat, we believe, lived in a house just 2 blocks away. That mama cat was hit by a car a week after I found him. So if it was his mama, he had no mama, so we weaned him and fed him just like we did with Coho. And at first, he didn't really show interest in trying to dart outside. I take that back, he did. He actually, but he would go out a little bit and come right back in because he was so interested in being around us. Especially after he got sick, he quit trying to go outside for that winter. If my memory serves me right, he was sick in the later summer. Yeah, it was summer. And that fall and winter, he didn't try to get out. But when the springtime came, he was ripping at the screen. He was nudging with his nose. He did get out once because he knocked the screen loose. And so Mason has been an escape artist all of his life. And this time he bolted. This is different this time. He bolted and he didn't come back. And again, our security cameras show that there's cats around, although we have other neighbor cats, so it's hard to tell. It's not the calico cat, I can tell you that, because on security camera and infrared, calico cat shows that pattern. But there is another cat that actually I have a video of Kate was helping look for this. Actually, I have a video clip. Kate was helping look for Mason, and she got home and thought she saw Coda, our oldest cat, and he's not that old, he's only 5, I think, 5 or 6. and she picked up this cat and brought it in. I have a video clip of that because she thought she caught Coda, and then she thought, well, maybe she misunderstood me. She thought maybe I said Mason escaped, but maybe it was actually Coda that escaped. So there is some humor in life, even though amongst this sad and frustrating time for our family, there was some moments of hilarity, of things that were funny, and all I can do is just keep moving on and hoping that Mason found a place that he's happy. My fear is that maybe he's not used to living outdoor, and I do know that 2 other cats own this territory. If you know cats, outdoor cats, and their territorial habits, they probably put the run on him as soon as he showed up in their environment. They used to spar through the window, Mason and these other 2 cats. They would yowl at each other and howl and hiss. So I'm thinking that Mason got outside and these other 2 cats chased him out of their territory. The other element has been that we've had a horned owl hanging around. And I've had that fear before. We even one day, a couple years ago, found a tuft of fur in the back, and Karen called me in tears and said, I'm afraid I found Mason when he escaped that time. But that time was different because Mason would keep showing up at our windows and doors to get let back in. And anyway, Mason was missing. We found a tuft of fur in the back. She thought it might be Mason, and it turned out it was a rabbit, because I actually put some of the hairs under, not a microscope, but under a magnifying glass, and studied the hairs very carefully. And I actually mentioned that on my video a couple of years ago, and the fur was not his. I think it was about a year ago now. But this time of year, the weather can change and get really nice and warm, and all the snow we had melted. And with the melted snow and the nicer weather, he has no interest in coming back. However, we've had a couple of very cold nights, down to about 13 degrees Fahrenheit, and a lot of wind. And you can hear the wind out there now. It's blowing about 40 to 50 miles an hour. They have a big fire watch, weather watch on for our area right now. There could be fires. Hopefully no forest fires, because with this kind of wind, pardon me while I hiccup, with this kind of wind, forest fires could really ravage the area where our cabin is located. We have even sent Sadie and Rollo out, and Lily actually, we've told them, search, find it, meaning usually we're saying, they're looking for their toys, but we have had them help us find the cat in the house. They're not really efficient at it. Sadie's probably the best. I'll say, where's Kitty? And Sadie will start sniffing around until she discovers a cat. She doesn't really alert, but she at least looks and uses her nose. Right, Sadie? Come on. But yeah, we've had all 3 dogs out. Rollo doesn't know he's looking for a toy. But I guarantee you this, if he smelled the cat hiding under a bush, he would flush the cat out, because he's got that scent. He's probably got, well, all 3 dogs have very good noses. And they've all actually done their normal flush where they're looking for squirrels and rabbits. They can never catch them, but they sure like chasing them. So we'll yell out, find the squirrel, get the rabbit. And, that means to them, hey, there's one in the yard somewhere. We're going to go look under all the bushes and chase it out of here. And that's what they do. They chase those creatures out of our yard. I don't care about squirrels. Squirrels can live here as far as I'm concerned, but rabbits, not welcome here, so we use the dogs to flush them out and chase them away. It's rather ineffective if you've had rabbits in your yard, but gets rid of them for that half hour anyway. But they didn't find any cat while doing that. They found the calico cat, and I found that calico cat 3 times too while looking for Mason. But Mason has decided to leave, and this time he's been gone since like Thanksgiving. Almost a week now, and no sight of him, we don't think. And we've searched, we're trying everything we know. And I guess we hold up hope, but it's been so many days now that, do I think he's dead? it's a good possibility because he always came back in the past. Will I hold up hope? Yeah. Rolo's barking at something out there. And we've been home. We've been looking out the windows. It's not like we headed to work or left for the lake. We've had eyes on our yard 24 hours, except for when we're sleeping. But even then, we got security cameras. And Mason, if he left, he probably got chased off by the other cats that own this territory. And he's probably searching for his own territory. So I wish him well. If I would hope that he's still alive. I'd hope that maybe someday he decides to come back. Maybe a snowfall will do that. Although it's been very, very cold and rainy and windy. Where do we go from here? Well, we just live on with life and not... what can we do? We'll just keep looking for Mason, but I wouldn't hold any more hope because it's been a week, almost a week, and he's a very good hunter. I think he's found his new place. We'll see. Time will tell. I'm not going to be all sad about it anymore. I'm rather unhappy with him about it, but I feel betrayed by my cat. But again, it's my fault in some vast way. I mean, he got out, and it's very, very difficult in this household with all the pets and all the people, especially when we have holiday going on with the Thanksgiving holiday. We did our best. Well, thanks for watching. We're just gonna thank you guys for watching, and we'll be okay. I guarantee that. I will still have clips of Mason from the past because I have so many clips I've not used yet, and so. But I will make sure to mark it somehow and say, well, this was in the past, so that you're not confused and wonder if he came back. If he comes back, believe me, I'm making a video. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for all the wonderful comments and support. And all a guy can do is drink a little coffee and enjoy the other things that are still blessings in my life. Have a good day, you guys. Coho's looking for his brother to play with. And Coda here is sad, aren't you? Yeah, you're the one that's probably the most bummed out, other than me. Our whole family's bummed out. Yeah, you're not alone, buddy. Yeah.